will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Limata, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing story time with Mr. Limata. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Limata, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing.
Good morning to you and welcome to Story Time. Thank you so much for joining me today. And of course, the special guests that we have, Josh Ogunyemi, and of course, Olaolu, who's been here already. And welcome back to Story Time. Thank you to everybody that is joining us, and wherever you're joining us from, it is always a pleasure to be here with you. And you know the Friday jig is back, so you know it is Friday. Thank you so much for being here on Story Time. Absolutely love it. Appreciate every single minute we spend together. Yes, thankful for the little things and of course the big things indeed. And today we celebrate a new book. Yes, Olaolu and Josh are back at it again, and they've brought us Billy Dipper's Time to Shine. I love this one, and I am sure you will enjoy it too. So please get comfortable, get cozy, get ready for an exciting story, and of course a wonderful conversation with the Ogunyemi brothers. I am excited to have them here on Storytime today. Oh my goodness. Please tell us where you're joining in from and who is joining in with you. And of course, so we can say hi to you. And if you're joining us later on for the recordings, please be sure to leave a message, leave your recommendations, and let us know you were here so we can say hi to you. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime, wherever you're joining us from. Out here in Oakland, it is looking nice and bright. It's going to be a warm day today. So I hope that everybody who's out here enjoys it. And I hope that where you are comfortable and indeed have the right layers when going outside. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. For now, it is time for Billy Dipper to shine. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. And of course, you know, Olaolu brought us as well. And Josh, they did bring us Crawl from the Shadow, a favorite of Storytime indeed. A 5-star rating of Storytime. And then, of course, Horace was here with us as well. Love it, love it, love it. Horace the Horsefly, probably my favorite horsefly, the only horsefly I love, probably. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Without much ado, please allow me to bring on our guests, and then we'll be saying hi to you all together. Please join me in welcoming Josh Ogunyemi. Welcome to Storytime.
Thank you, man. It's awesome to be here, and pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, great to have you here. And you're in Nashville.
Right. And it is not as nice as Oakland. I can guarantee you. It is cold, but it's a beautiful day nonetheless.
Yes. Oh, the Brotherhood of the Beard. Welcome to Storytime. I love it. Yes, and let's bring on the other person.
Oh man, that's how we're starting this morning. The Brotherhood of the Beard. Oh man, you know what? Hey, shout out to those who don't have a beard with a baby face, because most people can't tell if I'm 12 or 43. So the good thing is, you never know how old I am, so I can throw a spin ball.
Look how distinguished.
Yes, right.
Though I may look inexperienced, I look young and full of life. So I don't know about you guys.
Oh, well, gentlemen, welcome to Storytime. We do have people with us as well, too. Just a quick hello there. We have joining us. Terry and Abraham are always here with us. They're joining us right from San Leandro, really close to me here. And they say, squeeze out next week. Well, I hope we get to enjoy together for sure. There's nowhere to get this unmentioned. I would do that. I would do that. Thank you for joining in. Good morning to you, Terry and Abraham. Thank you for joining us. I love it. Yes, the Bay representing right there. Good morning to you, Amanda West. And today, of course, Sarah and Nathan. Hugs, hugs, hugs to you. And slightly dusted with snow, Illinois. I'm telling you, these descriptions of Illinois that you two give, Sarah and Nathan, they should be a book on their own. They're turning 8 on Sunday, and so happy to start their birthday weekend listening to their story. Wow, absolutely love it. There you have it. A happy birthday, early birthday from us here, and we'll be sure to look out on Sunday as well. Thank you for joining in. Do you want to take a go at the next one, Josh?
Oh, I know Marilyn Gibson. Marilyn Gibson, come through. Hello from Louisiana, and that's where we're from. So we grew up.
Yeah,
that's my good old sister-in-law. We don't really use the in-law thing, you know. I just say that so they know who it is. It's my wife's sister. So shout out to my family that's supporting. I'm seeing them starting to trickle in. So awesome. Thank you for joining us.
Welcome. And Olaolu, the next one is yours.
All right. So good morning from Clay, Rocco, and Chriselle. Good morning to you. Where are we coming from? Miss Chriselle? Yeah, I know. So that way, because I'm having great weather over here in Virginia for now. 56 degrees. It feels pretty good.
Oh, wow. How is it in Nashville?
It's cold, man. It's just cold. That's it.
No, Oakland is nice and warm today. And honestly, I only have this sweater on because I didn't iron my shirt. Seriously, I was like, what can I do? Oh, too late. Oh, Josh, next one. Aurelia
Lee, morning from Andres in windy Pennsylvania. Yeah,
awesome.
He's probably feeling what I'm feeling here in Nashville.
Mm-hmm. Josh, this one is yours. We don't know who that one is, do we?
What you say, Brian? Riley Jacob. That's his wife.
It is, huh? I'm just playing.
Awesome. Love to see you here. Oh, yes, indeed. Buenos dias. And Josh, this one is yours too.
Susan, good morning. Oh, from Oakland. Since I'm missing the sun and I'm missing the coffee. So, I mean, take one for the team.
Awesome. Susan, welcome to Storytime. We have a lot to catch up on, Susan. I will be getting in touch for sure. There's a lot that has happened. But we're here about a special book today, too. And just a quick squeeze as well, too. We have Joseph White joining us and saying hello from Lily and Lacey in Quantico, Virginia. Well, welcome to Storytime. Thank you so much for being here. Yes, Billy Dipper's Time to Shine. Where did the inspiration come from? I know we talked about it earlier when this was only a dream, but it's here now.
Yeah. It's funny how fast the time flew by, man. It's amazing. So, in short, like this inspiration came from, because as you know, it's Billy Dipper's Time to Shine. The main character's name is Billy. That's this guy. And then this guy down here, we'll introduce the character as we get into reading. But really the whole story is about, never forgetting your self-worth. So as you read, as you hear the story, as we go through it, really we just know that it comes from a place where in my life, I realized that one of the most important lessons I learned is to just take inventory of the things that I am good at, things I'm passionate about, and not allowing anybody or anything to validate my efforts or validate me other than me. So, it's very closely tied. You'll see some overlap, and maybe you'll be able to understand how this relates to Crow from the Shadow as you read through it. But it's gonna be a great time. But that's where it came from. It just came from, at least from the author's perspective, it came from the story of just like, I really want everybody to understand the same kind of lessons I learned on a daily basis. Yeah, nobody can validate your efforts but you.
Absolutely love it. And Josh, for you, how does this tie into your own personality, your own dreams, your own wishes for this world?
I think primarily, I'm a creator, so just having the opportunity to create, like you said, it was a dream at one point, and something we discussed. So it's really cool to see it transform, go from concept to, uh, you know, a hard copy in your hand. So that's really
Yeah.
cool. So no, he gave me his ideas, and then I kind of put my spin on it a little bit, and then gave
Yeah.
an artistic expression of it. So it's really cool to work on.
Yeah. No, I love it. Thank you. Well, we'll come back and talk more about this wonderful book, your creative process together. And right now, we know we have all those little ones, and of course, the young at heart too, who are here with us, excited for this story. So we'll come back. But first of all, we just have a quick break. And then when we come back, Olaolu will get to read to us. So right back after this message.
Hello, I'm Olaolu OgUnyemi, officer in the United States Marine Corps and author of Crow from the Shadow. You are tuned in with my brother on Story Time with Mr. Limata. Enjoy and God bless.
Welcome back. I don't know who that handsome fella is. Thank you so much for that wonderful message to kick us off. And Josh and I will be back after the reading. Awesome. See you in a little bit.
Man, I was just thinking that guy with that bald face looks so good. So anyway, we'll get started with the story. So the title of today's story is Billy Dipper's Time to Shine. All right, get ready, little ones. It was bedtime for Wade, so he completed his nightly routine. He ate his supper, brushed his teeth, and made his body squeaky clean. He dashed into his room, fluffed his pillow, and combed his curly hair. He turned on his lamp, grabbed his bear, and said his nighttime prayer. After his prayer, Wade's mind was intrigued. Though his thoughts were racing, his body was fatigued. He saw his favorite star brightening the night. He smiled at the sky with wonder and delight. Star, oh star, why do you shine so bright? Star, oh star, how you brighten the night. Even on the darkest day, your shine takes the gray away. Just then, Dad came to put Wade to bed. He overheard everything that Wade said. The star up there who brightens your day lives in a galaxy far, far away. Strap on your helmet, I'll tell you more. We're headed to space so we can explore. His name was Billy, Billy Bob Dipper. He was smart, fast, kind, and chipper. He was an example for all and stood out in the crowd. He was always polite and made his parents proud. For bright stars like Billy, there was one special day. The stars all aligned to celebrate Starlit Day. Starlit Day comes only once every year. The clouds are all gone, the skies are all clear. All special stars wait for their time to go. This cosmic night featured Billy's bright glow. Everyone was excited about the big Starlit Day news. Everyone cheered for Billy except Bully Beetlejuice. Billy practiced for years. It was his turn to shine. Starlit Day will be great. This moment is all mine. That night, the moment finally arrived. Billy took the stage with a twinkle in his eye. He slowly backed up, 1 step, 2 steps, 3. Then he dashed to the launch pad with a burst of light speed. As Billy dashed by, the floor got slick. Bully Beetlejuice had played a mean trick. Billy slid and swooshed across the stage. His mind was confused and his heart was enraged. Billy flew wildly through the air, knocking off Old Man Capella's hair. He popped his celebration balloon and kicked the cow that jumps over the moon. His belt flew off, his pants fell down. He fell onto the launch pad and launched upside down. Bully Beetlejuice laughed. His trick was very clever. But to Billy Dipper, this was the worst night ever. The next day, during a fun game of Star, Star, Goose, the children started a chant led by Bully Beetlejuice. Billy, Billy, you're a clown. You fell backwards, you fell down. Bumped your head when you fell, then you cracked the cattle's bell. Knocked off old Capella's hair. You launched in your underwear. Ha ha. After several days of teasing, Billy felt sad and alone. He walked quietly from school all the way to his home. Billy's parents were concerned, so they asked him, "How was school?" Billy's eyes filled with tears like the deep end of a pool. "I do not want to shine. I do not want to play. My night skies are cloudy. My bright days are gray. I have not played with my friends since that terrible day. I don't like this at all. I have nothing to say. I want to disappear. I want to fade away." After that statement, the Dippers began to worry. He really needs help. We must do this in a hurry. Our beautiful star has been happy from birth. Now little Billy has forgotten his worth. Billy was sobbing when he heard a cry from afar. It was a cry for help from a familiar star. Billy rushed to the scene like a soldier on patrol. He saw Bully Beetlejuice sinking in a black hole. Bully Beetlejuice sank deeper as gravity pulled him in. He was running short on time. This looked like the end. "Just try to stay calm. We will get you out of there. We will work this out. We will do it as a pair." Billy tried using sticks, but of course they all broke. Billy tried everything. He was losing all hope. Then he had an idea that could save Beetlejuice. "I must signal for help. We can all pull him loose." The answer was very clear. Billy must launch into the night, but the skies were too cloudy. Billy must shine really bright. Billy backed up. 1 step, 2 steps, 3. Then he blasted through space with a burst of light speed. He went into orbit. Billy went round and round. Then he flew through the air with a loud whooshing sound. Billy's shine was so bright the entire town could see. Everyone wondered, how could this be? The curious stars arrived. Beetlejuice was sinking fast. They formed a constellation to safely free him at last. The stars pulled hard until Beetlejuice was free. He dashed to his hero with a burst of light speed. Beetlejuice said with tears in his eyes, "If it were not for you, I would not be alive. I felt you were more special than me. I am so sorry for being a bully." Billy gave Beetlejuice a hug and a nod. He was happy and proud, and his smile was broad. "It's okay, Beetlejuice. This all makes sense. When you don't feel special, just remember this." You are intelligent. You have what it takes to succeed. You are strong. You are wise. Be whatever you want to be. When life makes you sad and you want to pout, remember, you are charming inside and out. You are valuable. You inspire many on earth. You should never, ever forget your worth. "Dad, that story was awesome," Wade said in awe. "How do you know it so well? Is this something you saw?" "I, like the star, just wanted to disappear. My eyes were full of tears. My mind was full of fear. That was it. I was done. My heart was full of despair. In a room full of people, I felt no one was there. But then something happened. I had a renewed hope. I felt refreshed like a body lathered with sweet soap. I had a warm feeling inside I had not felt in years. A smile appeared on my face from ear to ear. I too gazed upon a beautiful star that did not fade. That star saved my life. His name was Wade. The end. All right. Mr. Limata, back over to you, brother.
Let's see. I'm done. This is me muting myself so I don't disturb you, and then I forget to unmute myself. Oh, wow. Oh, yes. Yes, we're back in Zoom moment. All right. Welcome back to Story Time. Thank you for being here. Josh, I love that so much. I want to start with you, though, on how did, what's your creative process? How did you bring Billy Dipper to life, or how do you think Billy Dipper to be who Billy Dipper is?
So this one was so much different from Crow from the Shadow. We were kind of experimenting with their process, and Olaolu's kind of directive to me was, to make it a little bit more character focused and not so much on, the other elements. So anyway, we learned a lot through the process of how I best communicate through my artwork, how I best communicate what he envisioned himself.
Yeah.
But usually to start, I always want to get a better idea of what vision do you have? Like, what did you actually see? And like I told him, a lot of times people say, "Oh, I don't know, just you got it." And it's like, no, like when God deposited that thought into your mind, you had some vision of it. So chances are, sometimes I change it entirely. But it's always great to start with something and then allow it to develop.
Yeah. And I know too, like and Olaolu you can jump into. And what I was saying when I was muted too was bravo, beautiful readings.
Thank you.
But also just thinking too, like, I hear many times when talking to, creators, and they say it's not many times that author and illustrator get to meet. So how is it for you both? How is that working together? I know, Josh, you're mentioning, asking those questions from the creator and so like, or the author, but also having that, like, how is it? What are the advantages of working together and as siblings? And also, what are some things that you say, oh, maybe the disadvantages of that, or just, things that may arise from that?
I think I'll start on this one. So I think the biggest thing is trust. Because we know each other so well, I can trust that if Josh says it's going to get done, it's going to get done. It's not going to be in my timing, right? Because I'm a guy that, if there's a wall in my way, I'm going to sprint through it. But Josh is like, okay, why don't we just take the time to unlock the door and then open the door, and then we'll walk through the door, right? It's just different mentalities. But I think trust is the biggest thing, is understanding that, he's going to have my best interest at heart, and understand, like, I grew up with him. So I have seen over the years all the creativity that he's had from, drawing the little figures, like when he's drawing and illustrating things, or just creating flyers, or whatever creative thing that he came up with next. Even so much of the way he creates dinner on his plate, or smooths the bread over the peanut butter, and it takes 15 minutes. These are all things that I know, so that way I know I can trust him and say, you know what, I am a guy who slap the peanut butter on there, throw jelly at it, smash together, and I say it's going down the same way. Where this guy's going to take the time to ensure that it is like quality and it looks real good. So I think that's one of the biggest things. That's the advantage that we have. I'll stop on the advantages, and then I'll let Josh go ahead.
I guess to balance the conversation, I think a disadvantage is, I think it's really with any relationship though. Like, we've known each other for so long, there are certain things that we don't communicate, and we kind of assume to know a lot of times. So I think that might be one of the larger disadvantages, that we take some communication for granted. Kind of, as I was saying earlier, he's like, well, no, you do your thing, like do your thing, and it's like, no, if we're collaborating on it, we're working on it together, and you can't assume to know what another person is thinking or what they're truly, because I feel like that's the only way to truly get any satisfaction or fulfillment out of it, is to realize, okay, this is what I had in mind originally, and it'll take some molding, but it actually resembles what I had in mind in the first place. so I think it's great it's great to have, that unspoken communication. So I think it can be a disadvantage at times, because we sometimes assume the other knows what what we're thinking.
No, that's amazing. And I know, brothers, who's older?
I mean, the guy with the old bearded face.
I'm wiser. That's not fair either, though, because I do have a beard. If I shave mine off, I look younger than he does.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Right. Maybe alone, but no.
Well, you two are getting love too from Amanda and also Sarah and Nathan out in Illinois, with their beautiful descriptive language too. But they're saying too, they like love this so much, the story, the art. Thank you so much for sharing this with us.
Thank you so much, Amanda. That's awesome.
And I know too that you're both parents. How has that? I know Olaolu, we've mentioned this in the past before, but how has that affected your creative process? And probably, since you've been creating from the time you were younger, not parents yet, how has that changed over time as, your beautiful little ones have come on?
I think for me, it really helps to tap back into that little kid, that's been drawn the entire time. So for me, it's just it's a reminder. But it also helps to keep things fresh, teachers don't have time now.
Well, I had to put that up.
Quick aside, like the texture on this shirt saved me today, because I wasn't gonna iron this one either. So we're on the same page.
Great beards think alike.
Exactly. But no, I think it's great as well, because having the frame of reference, to see what they like, what attracts their eye, what keeps their attention as well. It's a great frame of reference, and so it keeps the creativity that I've always had. It keeps it relevant and it keeps it fresh. So throughout, I'm sharing with them the sketches, I'm sharing with them, the characters' names and things like that. So they're becoming more and more familiar with it. And if I see, okay, there's very little interest in this picture, well, sometimes they're a little finicky sometimes, but for the most part, it's decent market research to see, okay, if a child this age puts eyes on it, do they have any interest in it at all? So it helps tap back into that original creativity, that childlike, imagination, but also keeps it really fresh, for today.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And Olaolu, you had something too.
I think that it builds the more you learn, the more experience you have with just working with children in general. It just helps you learn what you need to connect, right? And I think that's what Josh has alluded to there. It's like you have to remain relevant, right? You can't just say, okay, well, this worked for me as a child, or I love this kind of story as a child, and think that all of a sudden it's going to work, especially not with today's technology and all those kind of things. So it's really just, connecting with the child, and the more I connect with them, the more I learn about the needs that they have. Right. And the needs that they have often are the same needs that their friends have, so it's just identifying those things that I can help parents and teachers and mentors, and by plugging that gap and giving them something to sit down with children and say, hey, you know what, let's have a conversation, let's have a discussion, and figure out how we can best fill that need, or sometimes that want that child has.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And too, like Aurelia is saying there, to appreciate the insight on siblings who collaborate. So in tying with that, I know that you have other siblings too. Do they ever chip in? Do they ever, what's their role in all this?
Oh, absolutely. I'll start with that. Let me jump on.
They're just super jealous.
You said they're super jealous. So I'll tell you what we do is the first thing that I do after I come up with some great idea is I share it with my wife, who I can tell you with the sheer nature of great ideas I throw at her, it's absolutely impossible for her to keep up. So she probably retains about 50% of the ideas that I throw at her anyway. And of that 50%, only about 10 of them are probably good anyway. So by the time it goes through my wife's screening process and then my children, I go ahead and drop it on the group message that our family has, because we keep in touch, we talk every day.
Group messages. I love it. Oh, there's a whole WhatsApp with my family. But go ahead.
Yep, same. We have WhatsApp. And so we share that WhatsApp group. And let me tell you, my oldest sister had to, like last week, I believe it was, she had to speak up and say, "Woo, you guys are beating them up, right?" Because I posted something on that group message. And I said, "All right, you guys tell me what you think." And I mean, they picked apart literally everything about it. They said, "Hey, he doesn't play that's not how you play a flute." I'm like, it's a children's book, man. What are you guys talking about? But that's what I appreciate about them, because they're my biggest supporters.
Yeah.
And they're my biggest critics. Like, nobody's going to tell me anything about one of the products that one of my 5 siblings and my mother and father haven't told me already. So the way I view it is that they're just a huge support system. They're a huge screening they're all educated, so they can screen it and rip it up. They can show it to their children, and their children can screen it and rip it up as well. So it's just a good environment that we have for, I liken it to the Shark Tank, right? I throw my ideas out there, and either they smell the blood and they just rip it apart, or they say, "Oh, that's actually really good." But they do it in an encouraging way, always constructive criticism, always building us up. So I'll put that plug in there, so that way everybody knows I'm not down talking you. So please don't forget, my birthday is still in November. But
it never did sound like that at all. Looks like somebody is afraid of the backlash in the family group.
Hey, it's like November rolls around. I want them to remember my birthday. Father's Day is coming up in June. I can't let them forget. So I love you guys. I want you to know that I'm not talking noise. Josh is. So spend his money on me. Please.
Yes. I love it. And just talking about just love, I just want to appreciate Dr. Cole. That was my professor, and just somebody that I look up to a lot and just appreciate. And hoping very soon we're working on having her on Story Time. Just great scientist. Love to you, Dr. Cole. Thank you for being here. And just in mentioning that too, I wanted to go back though to the name Billy Dipper. Where did that come from? And was there pushback on that, or where did that come from?
So the pushback, I'm gonna hit that in a minute, but the name Billy Dipper, because there's a very public pushback that happened, and I'm definitely gonna address it in all transparency, and I have my own thoughts that I want to talk about. But Billy Dipper, it came from me enjoying astronomy, me loving growing up. If you want me to get lost in something, that allow me to stare off in space and just start wandering, looking up at the stars. Yeah. And 2 of my favorite things to look for was simply the Big Dipper and the Little Dipper. Now the name Billy, just like Horace the Horsefly, there's no rhyme or reason to it. Just Billy just felt like it felt right to me. Billy Bob Dipper. I don't know, it felt right. But the Dipper was nothing but a correlation to astronomy. Is a plug for NASA. So NASA, if you want to shake my hand, and I love it. But it's a plug for NASA. Just want to spark, if I can just spark a little bit of an interest in astronomy and science, then I would love to do that. So that's really where the name came from. And I know Josh is going to talk about it a little bit, so I'll throw him out. We actually started off with a different name for it. Well, Billy Dipper was the name. But the actual title of the book was going to be The Star That Wanted to Fade. And we talked about it extensively. We went back and forth, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to point out the negative part of the book, right? Yes, he did want to fade.
Yes.
But I wanted to focus in on the fact that he was a shining star. And all of us, like Billy, maybe shining stars, but we have our moments where we just want to fade. We want to go to isolate ourselves to the corner of the room or whatever have you. So I said I was going to throw up the alley-oop to Josh. So I'm not going to take all your thunder.
No, it's cool. It's cool because I loved it. I actually fell in love with the original title. What first backup? Billy Bob, like it was just classic Olaolu. Like it was so random, and I was like, that's weird, but okay. Like, but the star that wanted to fade, I actually fell in love with that title, and I'm thinking like if it was a movie title and things like that.
Yeah.
But when he mentioned focusing not on or keeping a focus or staying focused,
Yes.
positive focused, staying positively focused, that really that just said everything I needed to hear, because that's how I live my life. That's how we were taught to live, is a focus on the positive. So from that point, it was a really easy sell to say, okay, listen, we're going to put the positive message. Like you said, the wanting to fade, that comes for all of us. But rather than branding that as the entire experience, we're going to brand the experience as when the moment comes, when it's time for us to shine, when it's time for us to step up to the plate. That's really what we want to brand the experience. So again, coming from a more positive perspective and having a more positive mindset, it made all the sense to me. And even though I love that title, which we got to do something with it, I don't know. I shouldn't be out there quite yet, but the star that wanted to fade. I mean, it sounds like a Grammy Award-winning picture.
Wow!
I love the title, but again, being focused, positive, it was just really important to bring the character Billy to the cover, but also it's his time to shine.
Yeah. No, I love that, because I was looking at it and just wondering, oh yeah, and then Beetlejuice.
Yeah. So Beetlejuice. Here's another one. So here's a well-known fact, and this is for everybody listening. When I first thought about that name, again, it completely random. It came to the top of my head. I knew Beetlejuice was a star. I also knew Beetlejuice is a really creepy. I found out he was a ghost for my research, but I had no idea what he actually was. The name that you don't say 3 times, so I'm not going to say it again just in case he wants to pop up on this live. But I found the way to actually spell it, and I was like, oh man, this is going to trip some people up. And I actually talked to one of my good friends here in Quantico, and he read the ebook, and he said, man, I think I said Beetlejuice to my son probably 7 different ways, right? Because it's not spelled the way that you would think. I mean, even when I looked at it, I was like, man, this is, Beetle Goose or Beetle Ghost. I don't even know what it says, So just for everybody knowing it, when you read it, it is pronounced Beetlejuice. There is no rhyme or reason that I had it. But I will tell you, I did put some fun facts in there about Beetlejuice at the end of the story. So that way, it's more than just a weird ghost from the 80s. So for those who know who Beetlejuice is, I'm not calling you old, but I am saying it was actually a very popular in the 80s. I'm just kidding. Please don't. But yeah, that's really the origin of it.
No, I appreciate it, like just that, the whole background story to that. I love it. Yeah, would you have had any other name, Josh?
Oh, I didn't have any suggestions, but I thought he was pretty insane though. But it's cool because I feel like art and expression, like you really do have to walk right up to insanity. So I thought Beetlejuice was pretty close.
Yeah.
Bully Beetlejuice. And I'm like, no one's going to know how to say this. But I think also as well, it's fun because we're able to take some risk with the art, risk with the expression. So it was like, it's really, really weird. It's really, really strange, but I don't think anyone forget it after reading it either. So it's tiptoeing insanity.
Susan says, I'm feeling all the way you're talking about.
Don't worry. I mean, I watched Beetlejuice growing up too, but it was just before my time. I'm one of those guys. You see the young looking face. I was actually born in 1990, so it was out before my time. I can't say that about the other two on the screen with these huge beards, but I will say that I was Beetlejuice was one of my childhood favorites. So. When the time came, and again, I realized I aligned Beetlejuice to astronomy. Again, if you start looking in the back and you start seeing, okay, Beetlejuice is a real thing. It's not just some made up character that this guy just spun around and came up with. And most children that were born, my children have no idea who Beetlejuice is. And most of us, we're starting to fade out who actually knows about it. Again, it came as it was already around by the time I was born. So most people don't know who Beetlejuice is. So I'm rebranding Beetlejuice as a character who was a bully.
But it's really cool too, though, because like you said, that it's really a tribute to the parents reading it. I mean, but
I like that.
It does something really cool because now the parent can explain who Beetlejuice is. So it still fosters that connection, that which is the entire point of the book and the series, is for parents to connect with their children. So from that level of it, I'm sure this was definitely not the original intent. So I came and put some genius to his insanity, basically.
I actually like to include a few nods to parents in the book. So something as simple as the cow that jumped over the moon. I mean, that is something that, as a child, we know what that is. You can see some of the influence from Dr. Seuss. Again, as children, I grew up with Dr. Seuss. There's a lot of things in there that parents were to look at, to include the questions in the back. I even mentioned Tom Brady for those who are fans, and LeBron James for those who are fans. So it's those kind of things that are just a nod to, the older generation. I almost say elderly, but I'm trying to watch what I say.
Wow.
It's a nod to the. It's just I'm just taking pop shots at you guys, but I realize that by doing that, I'm taking pop shots to probably 90% of the people watching,
and also yourself, because we're the same age.
Not quite, but I really enjoy though just having that whole every nod I can do to people who are with me, and there we go, a real fan of Tom Brady. That's what I'm talking about. He's a great player. I am a Drew Brees fan myself because I'm a New Orleans Saints fan, but I'll give you Tom Brady for now. But it's just, I really love having those things where people can enjoy. Thank you, Jacob and Briley. Where people can enjoy just
Olaolu, or is it Horace and who else?
We have Horace the horsefly. I have one I'm working.
Yeah, we know the names he wanted.
Oh well, there's another one coming out that I'm working behind the scenes. Josh will punch me if I tell people. So I'll let it go. But this one is also another one that may or may not have any kind of
drop it. Just say it.
Well, cool. Yes, it's called Jeff the Jazzy Jackal. Now, you may think about this and say, "What in the world are we talking about here?" But you know what? The influence for me was DJ Jazzy Jeff. There's another nod to the parents. A lot of people know who DJ Jazzy Jeff is, and if you don't, it's the one of the main characters who got tossed out on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air with Will Smith. And Jazzy Jeff was always getting tossed out of the house by Uncle Phil. So it's another nod to the parents. The children don't know who in the world Jazzy Jeff is, but they're going to enjoy, specifically that younger age group are going to enjoy counting to 10 with Jeff the Jazzy Jackal. So while we're under production right now, in a few months we'll be pushing that one out too.
Yeah, I love dad jokes. That's one of the things that one of my guilty pleasures, and one of them that just popped up when you say Jazzy Jeff. It reminded me. It's like, how do you find how does it go? How do you find Will Smith in the snow?
How's that?
You look for the Fresh Prince. Sorry.
So we're kindred spirits because I absolutely love dad jokes too. And but I'm not gonna get started. We'll be here all day if I can.
I'm gonna give you one. Okay, I once met a hen who could count her eggs. She was a mathma chicken.
I'm telling you, I put my fourth graders through all of this, and they're just like, "Oh, Mr. Limata." Oh my
Math and
goodness.
chicken.
I'm taking that one for sure. Oh my goodness. Also, Josh, you mentioned you we're getting some love from Bria.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Anyway, sorry. Regain my composure. All right.
But you mentioned, Josh, you said, that, like it's a nod to the parents and that connection. And we know that you have, your parent to child connection on there, right? Like that's your brand. So why is self-image and just that self-worth important to you both? And how, do you find ways of making sure that your books carry that message through and through?
I think
Okay.
just for me, from a self-worth perspective, clear transparency is definitely, you won't tell by looking at me, but it's something that that I have to do internal work on. And I have for many, many years. Just reminding myself, of who I am and whose I am, and maintaining a healthy level of confidence. What was the other part of the question? Sorry.
Oh no, just like how do you make sure that the books carry that message through and through? Because all three that I've seen have that message right through.
So there's a particular moment that I thought there's a couple of particular moments in this story that I thought were really important. Was where we saw that Billy and his parents, they saw that there was an issue, and then they didn't wonder about it or hope it went away or pray about it or anything. They took an active approach. And not just even in words, they had tangible items. So you saw that with the letter that they wrote out to him, as well as a cameo appearance from Crow from the Shadow that was in the book. So they were able to provide those resources to Billy, who in turn was able to provide those to Bully. So there was some really key and magic moments in the story where the parents take the responsibility for mentoring their own child. And then we see how powerful that is, how he's able to take those resources and then, give them right away with a simple change. It's very obvious, he changed it from Billy and addressed it to Bully. But that's the entire point, that we all actually have an active role to play, not just for ourselves, but as parents, but for our children. And we'll see how that has an effect on those that they come in contact with.
I mean, that's an excellent question. He wrapped it up very well, summarized it very well.
Yeah.
I'll tell you how it applies for me. And this is where I get back to that feedback that I was talking about, that critique. So for those who don't know, I love full transparency, and because you can see it anyway. If you look at Amazon, you'll see I have a 1-star review. And one of the things that I loved about seeing that, number one, it gave me a 360 view on what people's perception and what people think. But what's bigger is that I was able to immediately apply Billy Dipper's story to my own life. And now I'm not calling the reviewer a bully by any stretch of imagination. But here we are, a guy like me and Joshua, who are here trying to launch a book out that can teach people about self-worth. And we're really trying to shine for our community and shine for African-American men and shine for our families and all these kind of things we're trying to do. And here comes this antagonist, right, by way of a review saying that, hey, a protagonist by way of a review that's saying, hey, this story is too chaotic as a bedtime story and all other kind of things that were sort of thrown in that review. I have no idea where the person's mind is or was at the time they left the review, and that's irrelevant to me. But what I did take from it is that just like Billy in the story, I have to be comfortable with knowing that that review or the many reviews that Crow from the Shadow or Horsefly has received, they don't really validate who I am. They don't validate what Joshua's work. They don't validate how well we are representing our communities and representing African-American males and all these other things that we're doing. We're working to inspire others, right? That's what it validates us, the inspiration and the ability to go out and see somebody else that is able to sit down with their children and really just build a relationship, build that rapport, and just grow and develop. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I was able to learn. Even as I'm reading the story, I was sitting there and I looked at the review. And to be completely honest with you, the first thing I did was laugh. I was like, oh, wow, the first review, that's actually funny. I started laughing. And I know that's really important for authors and all those kind of things. But, one of the best things is, I still have been receiving the support. I still have been receiving the feedback and the hey, man, you really inspired me, man. I'm going to get your book so I can sit down with my children to read because they're going to love it. I'm still receiving that. And those kind of responses is what I use to validate my work. And I would let Josh the same way. We use this to validate us and to inspire us to continue to push and continue to go. So I would say that Billy Dipper had an immediate impact on my life. And hopefully, as we put that message into the book, it has an immediate impact on others' lives. Because we see Billy is the antagonist in the story, right? And we think, when we see Bully Beetlejuice, we assume that he's the protagonist. But in reality, he's not. He's not the person that's coming against Billy. It seems that way, but really the thing that's coming against Billy is his lack of self-worth. And it's the things that are coming against him to tell him that he's not special anymore. So by us identifying with either Billy or identifying with the bully, doesn't matter who we are, because we can be either or any day. I know we don't like to think of that, but sometimes we can be just like Bully Beetlejuice, where we forget about who we are and we start looking at other people and, wanting what they have and envying them. And we start, and because of that internal feeling that we have towards them, we could start, doing things that we probably shouldn't do, making fun of. Now that we sort of find which category we're in, we sort of just go and say, you know what, the parallel or the theme that we're getting at is that no matter who you are, Billy or a bully, you have something within you that you actually can bring value to those around you, and you have a purpose for being here on earth.
Yeah, no, I love that. And Josh,
I was just going to spin it back to you asked us about kind of our creative process and working with siblings, and a big part about, and just family in general, but a big part about that. And the reason he was able to take that critique is because, like you said, it's already been through the fire. Like, you're not going to tell me anything that I haven't heard already. So it takes a sting out of it. And I think just in general, my siblings, our parents, can take criticism. And for that reason is, like my mom said growing up, if you go out of this house with a big head, you're going to know you've heard it 6 or 7 times before you hit the door. So it's somebody telling you that in the streets, it's not gonna hurt my feelings. So you're able to take the emotion out of it, and like you said, make the adjustment, make a genuine reflection, and rather than it getting you down, it's actually something that builds you up.
Yeah, no, and the way like you see too that Beetlejuice is a complicated character too, that there's so much too that he's having to deal with on his own and thing, and like when you see the evolution of it, the development of his character over the book. And it's, like I appreciate it. And working with 4th graders myself, and there's a lot of self-discovery that is happening at this point. And a lot of times we're having conversations about just brush it off, or just, like, how can we move on from this? How can you be less upset by this? And so having those, I think, conversations, and also having read books like this, and whether you're thinking about it or not, I have been equipped, because of some of the information I've read in here, to deal with those matters, right? And so that, in a way, too, you're arming you're arming the parents with something that they can use, adults. And most of the times when we're learning, you don't, it's not always the time that you're like, oh, I want to learn something from this. Now you read it and you carry it with you subconsciously. So I have appreciated your books, from Crow and even to now Billy Dipper. It is important. And I think my full question, actually, when I had it here, was, how do we help our little ones / community with these books? And you both answered that, like amazingly. And just to close, on that note, I feel like it's a very powerful note on what the books are about, what your project P2C, Parent to Child Connection, is about. So what do you have for the people out there? Where can they find you? And, like, how can they connect with you?
So the best way to connect with me is it's called www.parent-child-connect.com. As you see on the screen, You can go on there. You'll see a blog. I do blog, and that's for adults. That's for me to provide more and more resources to you. I actually have a tab on there that literally says free stuff. You can go on there and download 2 PDF journals that I have. You download that, use it for yourself, use it for your family. And all my books, all the ebooks, if you're an Amazon Prime member, you can download it. You can read it for yourself. You can leave a review. You can do whatever you want with it. So I just try to offer all those resources on my website. And of course, you can go into the contact and about, and you can just reach out to me if you have any questions. If you want me to come by or at least do a virtual read with your students or your children, that let me know. Just reach out. I'm happy to work with you.
Josh?
Oh, likewise. So similar channels, but best way to reach me is, I guess, via Instagram, or if you want to see what I've got going on.
Yeah.
Instagram. It's just my first part of my first name. It's Josh.Oganyemi. Good luck spelling that. But buy the book. It's on the front cover.
Yeah. Oh.
Josh.Oganyemi on Instagram.
Oh my goodness, brothers, it's been such an honor having you here on Storytime. Olaolu, it's always fun, guaranteed. I've been looking forward to this. And Josh, such a pleasure to finally meet you too. And right. I love it. You're living my dream out in Nashville. So please sing away.
We'll do.
Oh my goodness, to everybody that was joining in Storytime today. We had the amazing Ogunyemi brothers. Of course, Josh, we'll start with the oldest. Josh Ogunyemi, thank you so much for joining us on Storytime and really bringing your shine today. And, your amazing work brings this book to life as well. Your work together is just amazing. I appreciate both of you. You're an inspiration, I'm sure, to many that are watching, and many too that will see this, and many that will get the book, and also remembering too the work that you're doing of arming us educators, other adults out there, other youth leaders out there that go on and share these messages with our little ones, making sure that we're empowering them too. And of course, Olaolu Ogunyemi, thank you so much for being here, my brother. I appreciate you so much. I feel like you're with us on Storytime so many times. Josh, you need to do your clip as well so we can have you sharing yourself with us here and reminding us too of our self-worth and just how important that is. Thank you so much. I'll connect with you very shortly, but thank you for joining in Storytime today. I absolutely appreciate everything. Please remember to get these books, find them at your local library, demand them, demand for them at whether it's your church or groups that you lead, demand these books. And that's the only way that we're going to keep supporting these creators to continue giving us amazing work, to continue, being thankful for their efforts. Thank you so much for joining us. Please join them, find them at Parent Child Connect. And we'll be here on Storytime many times. And please, brothers, you're always welcome here to join us any time. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Absolutely. All right, I'll catch you on the other side. And to everybody that is joining in, this has been Storytime for today. Amazing indeed to have the Ogunyemi brothers, Joshua, and of course, Olaolu Ogunyemi. I love them to bits. And thank you to everybody that joined in, your wonderful messages. And we are wishing you a lovely day wherever you're joining in from. I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful day. And please find Storytime on our YouTube, Facebook, as well as Instagram at Storytime with Mr. Limata. But you can also find us. You can also find us at our website at storytimewithmrlimata.com. To everybody joining in today, this has been Storytime. Love, 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 and hugs to you. And please, please, it is your time to shine. Find this wonderful book from the brothers. I appreciate it. Billy DIPPER'S, Time to Shine. This is the 3rd installment. And of course, we have the legendary Crow from the Shadow. And then we also have there somewhere in between Horace the Horsefly. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Absolutely appreciate each and every one of you. Until Monday, I'll see you again. Much love. Bye-bye.
He brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be hearing. Brings brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live long.